What's going on? Appreciate you stopping in. I'm sure you've heard by now that the Baltimore Ravens have placed the non-exclusive franchise tag on quarterback Lamar Jackson, which means theoretically another team who can agree to terms with Lamar Jackson on a contract extension could take him. He's theirs, and all they got to do is send 2 first-round picks to the Baltimore Ravens, and Lamar Jackson becomes a member of that team. However, the caveat in this one is that the Baltimore Ravens would then have the opportunity to match the contract of that team and retain Lamar as a member of the Ravens. So what this could be is the Ravens calling Lamar's bluff and saying, nobody's going to give you that money. We want you to be here, but for this price, which we think is fair market value. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about what's going on with Lamar Jackson. Is the NFL conspiring against him? Why did Daniel Jones get a 40 burger, but Lamar's deal is not done yet? And I think there's been a little bit of an oversimplification, right? Because you're saying 26-year-old former MVP, get the deal done. Why isn't he paid? Well, yeah, he won an MVP a couple of years ago. One of the most efficient offensive seasons in NFL history, and anyone who's calling him a running back is a casual who's never watched him play. Running backs don't lead the league in touchdown passes very often, and he did 36 of them to like 7 interceptions. Absolutely unbelievable. The young man has a cannon for an arm. However, the reality also is that over the last 2 years, Lamar has missed 1/3 of the games, and he's ended both seasons on IR. It's tough to make a playoff push when your quarterback finishes the year on the shelf. Over the last 2 years, the production has dipped. Completion percentage, down. Yards per attempt, down. Touchdown passes, down. Interceptions, up. The rushing production has gone from video game level, a tick down, to elite. Now, also, Lamar, it's weird where you would place him with quarterback rankings in the NFL. Obviously, he is an elite talent, but I think that any quarterback who is making this kind of contract demand would probably get similar treatment unless it was one of 3 names. 1, Patrick Mahomes, off to the best start of any quarterback in NFL history. 2, Joe Burrow, basically the modern version of Joe Montana, some of the best touch I've ever seen on the football, 70% completions, been to a Super Bowl, hasn't missed games since he had that ACL blowout a couple years ago. And then Josh Allen, who's pretty close to Lamar, both absurd talents. Now, both have struggled with playoff success. But Josh Allen over the last 2 years has double the amount of touchdown passes as Lamar, and Josh Allen has not missed games, even though he runs and takes a lot of hits just like Lamar. So I think if Lamar Jackson had not missed any games over the last 2 years, he would be getting the contract extension. Another thing that complicates this is that Lamar is being represented by his family. His mom is his agent. So an experienced agent could be a buffer between the team and Lamar and make things feel less personal. Additionally, they could read the NFL landscape and say, Lamar, what you're asking for is probably not going to happen. You can sign this extension from Baltimore. They're offering you a fair deal. And we've had a bunch of teams come out and publicly state that they're not interested in Lamar Jackson in a way that seems not coincidental. I do think there is a concerted effort by the NFL Shield to say the contract that Deshaun Watson got is not going to set a new standard for quarterback deals with the fully guaranteed situation. And yeah, one transaction does not make a market. If you are buying a house and one person in your zip code overpaid crazy, $100,000 over asking, whatever, for a house, that doesn't change the market of the whole zip code. One transaction doesn't do it. So I think that any quarterback who wasn't one of the 3 quarterbacks that we named that was making this demand would be receiving the same treatment. So fair or not, whether the Ravens are wrong or not, or the NFL is colluding or not, I don't think it's personal towards Lamar Jackson. Now, from a Jets perspective, should the Jets be interested? Hell yeah. Now, obviously, maybe by the time I press upload on this thing, Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. It's a moot point, so we're focusing on that for now. But if Aaron Rodgers falls through or decides to retire, doubt he goes back to Green Bay, then yes, I would definitely pivot to Lamar. Now, maybe it ends up where you offer the picks and then the Ravens match, but I think what you would have to do is you'd have to put a quote-unquote poison pill in there. You'd have to do something that would make the Ravens have to just let Lamar walk and be a Jet, and that would be very, very pricey, a very pricey contract extension that includes massive risks for some of the reasons that I mentioned, including the durability concern. But I would sell the farm for Lamar Jackson before calling the likes of Jacoby Brissett or Jimmy G or Baker Mayfield. Spare me. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't work out, I'm definitely pivoting on a full court press for Lamar Jackson. But hopefully it's a moot point because Aaron Rodgers is a Jet very soon. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Go Jets.